Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Relentless Talk Radio. This is episode 90. We're kind of struggling a little bit with the fact that Facebook had recently had some updates. And so I'm just checking to make sure that we are actually live on Facebook. And I am not seeing it. Are you seeing it?
I see a frozen screen.
Wow. I'm so bummed out. Let's see if you see a frozen screen right now?
Yeah, well, actually it played. I mean, of course it's delayed when I see it first.
Let's see, So sorry, everybody, you're watching me jerry-rig stuff here on Facebook live, but let me just make sure that you guys are hearing us before we continue to talk and waste time. So Facebook, I'm looking on another browser right now. And God, I was so funny and intriguing in my pre-reminder video. Yay. Okay, cool. We are. Oh, yay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it looks
cool.
good.
All right, everybody. So, we're relentless, dang it. So This is episode 90 of Relentless Talk Radio, and Adam has been a trooper. There has been some changes with how Facebook is streaming live media to via applications like BodyLab. So I got the big red notice from BodyLab today. So, it's going to be little bugs. This is kind of the way it goes. So we were just talking about the fact that Adam and I, and you guys probably didn't hear it, Adam and I went to yoga teacher training together at Dave's Astanga. And we trained under a gentleman that has since passed away, who is just an icon in the yoga community. His name was Dave Oliver. Yeah. And he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and 6 weeks later he was just gone. Yeah. And I feel so privileged that I got an opportunity to learn from that man. Don't you?
Absolutely. Even afterwards, he's had such an incredible legacy that even people who are newer teachers came right after. They all say that, they all know the name and they all wish they had a chance to learn from him. And so it was a true blessing that we were one of the last few to be able to just soak up that knowledge. And to this day, still soaking it up. I mean, some of the things he said back then, like I'll get into a situation, whether in life or teaching, whatever, and I just hear his words echoing in the back of my mind. And I'm like, oh, all right, dude, that's what you meant. Like, it's just beautiful. And I hope that doesn't stop.
That when he touched you, like when he was spotting you, and I know that a lot of yoga gurus have gotten a bad rep for being inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But Dave Oliver was not one of those people. He was one of those people that when he touched you and to correct you or to move your body into the right space, that you just felt warm and protected and loved, and he was just a gentleman in every sense of the word. For men, he was a role model. For women, he was a role model too, just a different kind of role model. He was the kind of man that gives women the belief that there are good men out there that still understand boundaries and understand healthy touch versus unhealthy touch. He was amazing. Right.
He was, and he was brilliant at keeping everything gender neutral. So it never felt like a he-she thing. And I think that was the biggest thing about safety, because of course, it's a female dominant industry, and so the safety of females is a big concern, but also for the men, speaking from experience, we have to be very cognizant of that perception. And so men get scared because it's such a female dominant industry.
That's an interesting thing, and we'll revisit it in a moment. I wanted to mention that I don't think it's any accident that the last class that Dave taught in its entirety, that there were so many rock star area, Phoenix area, and California area yoga teachers in that class. You were one of them. I could literally, there's like 30 people that I could name that I still see in the community that I know. I trust them. I know them. I see them leading humongous classes. Dave Oliver is also John Salisbury's stepfather. And John Salisbury owns Modern Yoga and literally is another very respected and guru-esque kind of person. He probably hates that I say that, but it's the truth. I mean, he's really something that we all admire and respect tremendously. And he came from his stepfather taught him, maybe not everything he knows, a lot of what he knows, so I feel really grateful that I had an opportunity to be in class with you and to be surrounded by so many stellar human beings.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had one of the greatest groups by far.
I mean, just talking with you, I was sharing with one of my closest friends the other day, it just reminds me of who I am, because I think when we're teachers and we're learning, we really are accessing our best self when we're in that type of environment with other souls of the same caliber together.
It is, and you hear a lot of people talk about, surround yourself with like-minded people. Well, for us, it was different. We were.
Oh, you froze.
A sink or swim. It's like, look, beautiful, keep up. And that still kind of holds to this day. And even I just still remember just the nature of the Astanga program. I mean, you come into your first Astanga class, they don't warn you at all what's coming. And they start chanting and counting in Sanskrit, and you're just like standing there, just blown out of your mind, looking around like, what's happening right now? Even if you were a yogi going to these studios, I don't care if it's Bikram, Haya, whatever. The second you step into your first Astanga class, you're just like, what?
Wow. And you broke up a little bit, but I think what you were saying was that when you're in a group of like very high caliber people, you get a chance to learn to a greater level. Is that kind of what you were saying?
Yeah, they kind of elevate you,
Oh, shoot, you're breaking up again.
When you have this energy level, motivated to keep up. And if you fall behind, they kind of pull you up. It wasn't very much, no, come on, stay with us, keep going.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And what happened for me was taking class at True Hot Yoga, which I still take class at her. That's my home studio.
Patty. Yeah, love Patty.
And I accidentally ended up in a John Salisbury class when we had two. I don't know if they still have two studios there. Like I thought it was a regular Sumit's hot yoga class, and I went in and it was John. And I was like, there's something to this Astanga thing, like it wasn't just the 26 postures that Bikram and then the 26 postures that Sumit's had reconfigured and had a flow series. It was and I realized that I needed to learn more, and that's how I ended up at Dave's Astanga. I had no idea that John and Dave were family, you know what I mean? And I remember walking into class the first time, and I had only taken hot yoga classes, so the same series over and over. And you're right, it was like, wow, like it's amazing what some of the bodies do, right? I mean, you just look around, and I remember Dave or Cheryl giving us permission to be the observer, because there were some people from California that were just such high level yogis that you just, decades of practicing to be able to do some of the things that they do. But I remember watching and just being in awe. And also I remember watching you going, wow, there's a dude who knows how to move. That's awesome.
It was, that reminds me of a joke that Dave used to say, because a lot of people who, just have a casual familiarity with Ashtanga don't realize it's a long series. You think about the Sumits or the Bikram, the 26 postures, you get that series. A lot of people try Ashtanga, they're like, oh, okay, that was Ashtanga. Like, no. That was the entrance to Ashtanga. There's six flows in the series that you have to work through. And Dave even admitted he never got through all six. He started later in life. Pretty much, if you want to get through all six, you pretty much have to start as a child. But he used to joke, he gave the rough description, the first primary series, grounding forward, starting to open the hips. Second series, more back bending, starting to open up, starting to be more exposed. Third series, you get into the more strength, the aggressive, the arm balance. And then that's when he started to joke around. Fourth series, you do naked. Fifth series, blind stare. Sixth series, we set you on fire. And then, of course, Dave's way, he's very stoic when you say this to the class, looking around. And everyone's just like, you can see him starting to reel back, and he's like, I don't know, I didn't make it that far. Like, chill out. It's like, so like, yes. When when I met some people that were working on the more advanced series, I look over like, whoa, it's like Cirque du Soleil. I was like, what is happening right now?
It's horrible that my menopause brain is not being able to pull up some names, because I would be totally bragging about some people right now. But Danny Newman. Say it again.
Danny Newman was
Oh
one
my
guy from
God.
our group. That guy, he was up there. He is working in the Vance series. He still might be. I've lost touch with the guy, but he was the one. I mean,
Amanda Manfredi.
yeah.
Amanda Manfredi. Now she does acrobat yoga, and I troll her once in a while on Facebook. I'm just amazed at the stuff that she can do and the focus, you know. And and you know, Anton Mackey. I mean, he's you know, a little Gumby. I can't think of any other Danielle Godfrey.
No, I haven't heard from her in a long time.
I ran into Danielle at Whole Foods a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, cool. All right.
Just amazing. I mean, there's an older person, older than me, right? Not ancient.
Oh, she's gonna live forever. She's got too much fire.
She's amazing, and also.
And if she can't do something or she has to do a variation, she doesn't care. She just knows, like, so, and she'll go out. She never stops, or, you know, she never feels defeated. She just knows that's not for me, but I'm going to do this. And that's why I love her. You know, it's just this attitude to accept your limitations, but also excel within your capacity, you know, and that's so hard to teach.
My dad was the same way. He literally was walking up until 2 weeks before he died. And he was out in the woods scouting with 2 hand poles, you know, just the last deer season of his life, he was out scouting. He literally was relentlessly getting out there. So I love that kind of spirit, because it really is a great example for all the younger people in the class. And even there's a study that says that when you smile, the people that see you smiling are affected, and the people that see them smiling at you are affected. So when that person comes into the room and is smiling, and you're acknowledging them, and then you're sharing it on social media, but the ripple effect of her loveliness was felt like several layers deep. You know, I mean, that's just awesome. I just love that.
It did. And not only that, being in the circumstance we are, this environment, I mean, here's someone who would be considered that vulnerable category that you would expect to be sitting home, and she's like, no, screw that. I'm going to live my life. Yeah, it's a risk, but it's worth the risk.
You know, I have a housemate right now who's got a lot of things that are at high risk, and she is of the same mindset. And I just love that. My mom too, also high risk person, you know, has got some lung things, is 80 years old, and last week, you know, I mean, it's a huge deal. So I have your website scrolling below, kumana.com, and you are on Instagram and Facebook at Kumana. So Kumana, for those of you who will eventually, hopefully, be listening on podcasts, is KUMUMANA.com.
Yes.
So we wanted, number one, I wanted to say I loved your title, Lifestyle Motivator. So awesome. Just love it. Totally love that. Want to make sure that we've touched on everything. But this idea of just breathing, I want to touch on that before we close. So I was in yoga class. I was at BodyLab. It used to be the Summits North studio.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Is it BodyLab? I'll look. I'll make sure that I'm saying the right thing. But I just was upset because the person beside me was breathing too hard.
Right.
And it really got me. Yeah, Body Alive. It's at 350 East Bell Road. They have a group on right now, by the way. And so does Sumit's Greyhawk. I'm going to be there tonight. Alicia is teaching, the owner, and she is amazing.
Oh, okay.
The group at Sumit's Greyhawk has a group on for 10 classes right now for a really good deal. So I was annoyed at myself for being annoyed that the person beside me was breathing. And I just think that the damage that has been done by COVID is so, for us yogis, yoga is not about the movements, people. It's about the breathing.
Absolutely.
So to have our breath to be masked up and to be feeling upset at each other for breathing is just so damaging on such a deep level.
Right. Absolutely.
What do you think about all that?
It's amazing, just the attitude that people don't want to breathe. Here's another funny story. So John Salisbury, our teacher's son, a while back, he was, I remember popping into yoga classes, and right before this yoga class I was taking, he would do a 15-minute breathing session, pranayama breathing, right before and another teacher was teaching the flow, but he wanted to offer this. And it wasn't really advertised, but I knew it. And I was literally just walking down the hall, and he peeks his head out the door. He's like, "Hey, pranayama, come in." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I threw my mat in the other room, went in, sat there, breathe. And then one time, a girlfriend of mine was getting into yoga, and we were taking to the yoga class, and John was doing the pranayama again. I was like, "Oh, hey, let's pop in here real quick for 15 minutes, do some breathing exercise." She's like, "Oh, okay, cool." We did it, and you do all the types of pranayama, and then afterwards, she's like, "Yeah, I don't think I want to do that again." And I told John the story much later. I actually had dinner with him and his wife a little while ago, and told him that story. It's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about this years ago." He's like, "Isn't it funny how people don't want to breathe?" And when it comes down to it, that's really what it was. It's like, yes, this girl literally told me she was uncomfortable breathing. I'm like, wait a minute. And then there's another joke that between yoga teachers. Yeah. And there's another joke between yoga teachers like, wow, look at all these people paying me good money to remind them to breathe. It's like, yeah. Because, you hear all this stuff about yoga and meditation was getting big over the last few years, especially the niches and everything. And really, it's when you drill down to the simplicity of it, it's just sitting still and focusing on your breathing for a couple minutes. If you could do just that, whatever philosophy or concept envelops that, cool, whatever. But it's interesting that people just forgot how to sit there and just breathe,
It's an amazing thing to me, really, when you really think about that people don't want to breathe. And they didn't want to breathe pre-COVID.
Right.
So, I've lost several people. In fact, one of the folks that I used to practice Bikram with, I practiced 9 years in Vermont before I came here. Mm-hmm. And he and I used to love to see him every time he came into the studio. And I used to love to stand beside him. As in Vermont, everyone showers after yoga. Here, people towel off, jump in their car, and they go home and shower. Yeah. It's interesting. It's a cultural thing. In Vermont, the line to the showers is like the social time. Yeah. So we're all standing there like half naked, pretty much naked, sweaty, looking like crap. And I just remember seeing my friend, and always was so grateful to get a chance to practice beside him and stand in line for the shower with him. And he hung himself. He hung himself a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
And it just, his name was Norman. And it just, he's one of many people that I've lost during COVID, and literally he stopped breathing. And I just find it so heartbreaking that we're mad at each other for breathing. And I'm just hoping that in time we're able to, we're all going to have like major PTSD from this, because really being afraid to breathe around people and being afraid to breathe. And in yoga, what we know is it is all about the breath. It's all about paying attention to breathing. And just we take like a couple minutes right now, take 10 deep breaths. Like, if everyone, after you're done watching, is after this episode is over, to stop for a second and take literally 10 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you will feel the change in your body chemistry.
It's instant.
You will feel it.
Instant,
yoga is not about turning yourself into Gumby, even though we admire the people that can. It's not about fitness. It's not about being able to throw your leg over your head. It's not what it's about. Yoga is literally about getting present in your own skin and breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said exactly that. People are afraid to breathe, and a lot of times it's because they're uncomfortable in their own skin.
Yeah. And that's why PTSD sufferers respond so well to yoga, because when you have PTSD, getting back into your body and being present in your body is how you ground yourself and how you heal yourself. So maybe you're not able to go out into public yet. You don't feel comfortable being in a gym. You don't feel comfortable being in a yoga studio. But, go ahead and you can go to Relentless Talk Radio Health and Fitness page. I've got probably 30 yoga practices, including John's, saved in a tab. Okay. And you can do that in your living room. And on Sundays, I always have a yoga nidra practice on Relentless Talk Radio's health and fitness page, so that you can actually lie in your living room and breathe in your living room and not worry about breathing anybody else's air.
Yeah.
And get re-centered in your body so that you're not afraid of breathing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. Try it and see what happens. You won't
see
be
what happens.
disappointed.
Right?
Yeah.
Adam, I just adore you, and I have a lot of respect for you, and I just think that we are blessed to have you in our community, leading 2 yoga studios and bringing up so many amazing young teachers. You affect so many people, and
That's
I think
my purpose.
that Dave is upstairs in heaven, and he is watching you, and he's proud of you.
I feel it. I still feel it, and I love it. So, right on.
So namaste, and thank you very much. Namaste. Thank you very much for coming on Relentless Talk Radio, and I look forward
having me.
I'm going to be doing some studio visits at the Madison Improvement Club and BodyLab soon, and we'll let you know what dates are. So we're picking up the dates. So I will do a live
with Adam
teachers.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely set that up soon.
So look at that. It's 3:37, but we got cut off a little bit. I knew we'd have plenty to talk about. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Thanks, Adam. Have a really good day.
Thank you. You too. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys, that's the end of episode 90 of Relentless Talk Radio. I'm really sorry that we've had some issues with the internet and with BeLive and Facebook speaking to each other. So hopefully you got enough out of that to have value in the episode. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you back here again at 2:30 on Tuesday next week. All right, guys, take care.